morning, Nettie.
Morning. How are you?
I'm really good. And you?
Good. A little bit better now. It's cold. It's cold.
Is there fire on?
It is on.
I kept it going till as late as possible last night, so it wouldn't be so cold this morning. But it's minus, 6 outside at night at the moment? It's freezing.
It's very, very freezing outside.
This is your system.
This is my system.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I love that.
Do you want a cup of tea?
Yes, please.
Let's just say it's a crisp day at Lalande today. Sadly, no blue skies to go with it, but I do quite like the little tiny remnants of snow everywhere. Some might see slightly grubby molehills. I see a winter wonderland. And more importantly, I see the lights on up in the chapel. So I'm going to go up to get an update from the chapel restorers. I think that today they might be starting the plaster work of the vault. Bonjour! Est-ce que je peux monter? Oui. D'accord, j'arrive. Up we go. Alors ça y est, le plâtre commence.
Oui, c'est ça.
Ah, c'est le moment que j'attendais.
On est en train de refaire les moulures.
Pour que ça fasse exactement le même que l'autre côté.
Voilà.
So what we have here is a little angle, and then a sort of half circle, a little sort of arch coming up, and then a flat surface to join the vault. So that is what they're having to match up. Mais je trouverais ça absolument impossible. Et vous le faites ça à l'œil, comme ça?
Alors là, on dégrossit.
Oui.
Et après, on aura le gabarit pour refaire exactement le...
Oui, alors après, le gabarit, vous mettez contre, d'accord. They just make it big enough first, the plasterwork, and then they'll make a shape that's exactly the same as this, a kind of stencil in a way, that they will pull along the plaster on that side to create the same shape. Et comment est-ce que vous créez le gabarit?
Alors on a un appareil, c'est des aiguilles. Et donc on fait les profondeurs. On le plaque et on arrive à retrouver les moulures exactes. Là on est en train de faire les préformes. Là on en a bien pour la semaine. Là.
Ah oui, alors c'est long comme travail. Parce qu'il y en a beaucoup. Il y a ici.
Il y a toutes les...
Oui.
Toutes les moulures des croisées à reproduire.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous.
Et à demain.
À demain.
It'll be wonderful when the plaster work is done, and then the paint restorers will be able to come and then just carry on painting those stars over the missing sections there. My goodness, it's going to be incredible. This restoration is such a dream come true for me that I just have to keep pinching myself. Really, whenever I see the light on in the chapel and I know that they're working in here, or when I come and see them just doing the plaster work, filling in that vault, it's like a dream. I keep thinking I'm going to wake up. I didn't know you'd followed me out. And what are you doing dressed only in that? You're going to freeze.
Quite cold. Yeah. But there was no one there to tell me otherwise. I always want to remind you to dress up for me, but there's no one there to remind me, so...
So you're going to blame me?
I'll just catch a dead of cold.
And then it'll be my fault.
Yeah.
Great. But look how well wrapped up I am.
I know.
I did so well today. Boots and everything. And drizzle porn scarf.
Sorry?
Drizzle porn scarf. Drizzle porn is our name for Outlander. Love Outlander. And they've got pockets. Oh, it's marvellous. Mobile phone can go in there. Look at that. Absolute drizzle porn classic.
I want to see the vault.
Oh, you weren't more excited about my scarf?
I'm very excited about the
Go
scarf.
and have a look. It's incredible. Yeah, if you stand on that level and look up, you'll actually be able to see it from where you are. You don't need to go all the way to the top.
It's incredible.
You can go all the way up if you want to.
No, alright.
I thought you might prefer it from that level. So they have to make a mould, a template of the existing rib vaulting.
And then they can...
then...
It's good.
Sounds very fast, but will take several weeks apparently.
I'm quite cold. I don't know why I'm so cold.
Don't start.
Can you see my breath? I don't think you can. It's not that cold.
No, it's not that cold, so pull it together.
Dave has just mopped the floor.
Okay, well, let's gingerly step around the edges.
Luckily, there's no map there. Stay. Stay. Stay.
Did you miss us while we were in the chapel? Yes. It's just marvellous.
Yes. Do you want to come up? Do you want to come up? There we go. Look,
we're just gingerly stepping around the edges of your floor. Except for Lancelot, no one told him to be gingerly stepping.
It's okay. It's a working floor, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, I'm putting the oven on because we are going to have melted cheese for lunch. Oh, I'm so happy we're inside. Oh, that was murky out there.
Warm by the fire.
Yeah.
every single time I look outside, I can imagine it all done. With the lake,
the
back,
lake,
two little
the
towers.
chapel's finished, there's the scaffolding gone.
And to have a few parterres, we have a main lawn still, so we can use it for events.
We're going to have a snuggly time in front of the fire, and I'm going to indulge in my péché mignon. I don't know if you know that phrase. It's one of my favourite French phrases. Péché mignon means my cute little sin. Everyone has them. It's a little naughty pleasure. Guilty pleasure would be the exact translation in English. And mine is going to a world where renovations are instant, and one can look outside the garden and rearrange it at the touch of a button. I mean, of course, June's Journey that I've spoken to you about before, and I'm very lucky because they've offered to sponsor this video with this ad. For those of you who don't know June's Journey, it's a hidden object mystery game which is free to download on your mobile, and it's a detective story set in the glamorous 1920s where the heroine June sets out to solve the mystery of her sister's murder. But of course, whilst doing so, she also renovates her estate. In order to upgrade the island and progress through the game, you need to find hidden objects in these lavish scenes, wonderful interiors of mansions, travels around the world, stunning gardens. So when I have a spare moment in the chateau, I go to my péché mignon and play June's Journey. And actually, I've got Philip completely hooked on it now too. And as you'll see, his island is already much, much more organised than mine.
Well, there's a lot less stuff in it because I haven't been playing for so long.
But still, it's always going to be symmetrical and planned out.
I try.
So if you'd like to try June's Journey for yourself and join Philip and I in this other universe, then you can download June's Journey for free by clicking the link in the description box below or scanning the QR code on the screen. June's Journey is available on Android and iOS mobile devices, as well as on PC through Facebook Games. All right, Philip, I'm actually going to need that phone because I'm going to play.
All right then. Here you go.
Philip has finally got a coat on. I've seen reason. We're going out to see how Anne-Marie's getting on. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are things going?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Are you not freezing out here?
No, it's not too bad. If you keep moving your digits, then it's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, I know, you keep moving your digits.
Yeah.
Have you got a heater in here?
No.
It does feel a bit warmer in here than outside. You wouldn't think it would make the blindest bit of difference.
No, but there is a difference. You can feel it.
Yeah, but you should still get a heater.
No, it's just wasted. No, there's no need for it.
So how
It's long enough to get used to the cold when it's here. If you look at the weather forecast, it's just this week that's got a cold snap.
Seriously?
Really? Yeah, next week it gets up to like 14.
See, and this is why we need a swimming pool. Because, you know, we could use it in winter.
Ice skating.
No problem at all.
But yeah, next week it gets up to double figures.
So how are things going in here?
Yeah, fine. I'm just getting bits and bobs ready for to do Natty's list.
This is the list that the three of you, so Natty, Philip and Anne-Marie, all walked around the entire chateau together, making a list of everything that needs doing before the guest season starts.
Everything only in the guest areas.
Yeah, well, never mind our area. Just the guest areas.
Spruce it up and
Okay.
get more comfortable with the guests.
So whilst I focus on the sort of decorating side, you're focusing on the actual like finishes and making sure everything's working.
So it's just jumping between stuff because I've got all of the plasterboard arriving on Friday, 50 sheets,
Yeah.
and all the rest of the rail and all that kind of stuff.
And that's to finish the boiler room.
That's to do the vent now.
And I mean, it's big enough for Father Christmas to get down comfortably. So this is a good thing. I mean, there's always a silver lining
Yeah, you'll be trapped.
in our boiler.
No, it won't be trapped because the door opens from the inside. So that's true. Then I've got waiting for some other stuff to go and collect. So yeah, just jumping.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I think it's going to be a lot of jumping around this whole winter, isn't it? Like
I don't
doing
mind.
stuff around
Keeps us busy.
the chateau. I love coming in here. I love feeling how tidy and orderly it is.
Not much is happening here. It's just other stuff.
Lunch, yeah. Do you know what we're having? I'm going to put Mont d'Or on. Oh yeah. When my friends came from New Year, they left a Mont d'Or in the fridge. I love this cheese, and it's really made for melting. So I put a little cross in it. I'll put a bit of garlic in there, stud some cloves in, a little bit of white wine, and then in the oven for 20 minutes. This is ready now. That's just studded with lots of garlic. Putting it into the oven. That's just a little bit of white wine, you see, floating on top. Anne-Marie says we couldn't take it out till it was dancing. Oh, it's dancing, all right. I've never described it as dancing before. I like that.
That would kill you. Not kill you, but you'd spend the rest of the month on the toilet, wouldn't you?
I think
It's a lovely chat for lunch.
so even smelling it, my stomach turned.
Oh, that's tragic.
More for us, Anne-Marie. More for
us.
us.
I'm gonna
Oh, it's sizzling.
You'd hate our fridge. Natty's starting to not enjoy our fridge. She was
It is so French.
It's the only meal. This is like when you choose at the restaurant, like a formula menu. I always go for the cheese board. I've always loved cheese.
Yeah, I almost always go. Oh no, I always think I'm going to, and then I realise I can't eat anymore by the time I get to it, and I get disappointed.
You know that everything is
for
in
it.
Tupperware in our fridge.
Yeah.
But it still smells.
Oh,
I don't know how.
it's just the quality. I just love cheese.
It does not get better than that. Look at that oozing.
Cremoso.
I'm ready to start making the pelmets. I've got all my curtain books down, and I have so many of these because when I first moved to the chateau in 2005, we had no internet here. So I couldn't look at YouTube tutorials. In fact, I don't even think YouTube existed, or it was just starting. So I had to learn everything from books, how to make them. And in fact, this is the book I used, the American Day Encyclopedia of Curtains. It just tells you absolutely step by step everything you need to make curtains. And then they have a more detailed pelmet book that I use, which is fantastic because it actually comes with the patterns for the pelmets as well. But when I opened these books, I found my original calculations for the curtains that I made nearly 20 years ago. These were the measurements for the billiard room. That's the green curtains. The billiard room is now the winter salon, but the curtains are still up and I still love them. And then this, the grand salon curtains, shows just how I was battling because I had so little fabric from the factory shop that I had to calculate exactly the length of each curtain. I couldn't make them all to the same length because I didn't have enough fabric. So I had to save whatever I could, keep bottom of pattern the same on each curtain and make up the length difference at the top. That's a tip that I got from the book. It's something that it's very easy to overlook if you're doing this at home for the first time. You just start at the top and work out the length at the bottom. But in fact, the eye sees the pattern at a lower level. As long as from the bottom up, the pattern is the same. It then doesn't matter if it's going a little taller at the top. But there is a big difference in what I'm doing today and what I was doing back then. All of these books I used back then, but I didn't use this one. Just family chateaus in France. And the reason I'm going to look at this book today is that years after completing my curtains, I started to notice a difference between the curtains that I'd made, which were absolutely made as they were in the past with lining and interlining and top fabric and swags and tails. But a difference between those curtains and the one I was seeing when I was going to French chateau museums around France. And it took a while for me to notice, why was it that my curtains didn't seem to be in the same tradition? And I realised I'm using Anglo-Saxon books. These are all actually British books. And I'm making them in that Anglo-Saxon tradition, which is quite a lot of fabric, much more fabric than they use, certainly for the width of the curtains, in France. I don't know if it's easy for you to tell from this, but there's far less fabric either side of the window than there would be in an English manor home of the same sort of styling. You can tell again here, much simpler, narrower curtains than you would see in England. And you wouldn't think that you would notice that difference. You'd think it would just make it more lavish. But actually it made it feel just a little bit less French. Not less beautiful, but less French chateau, more maybe English stately home. In fact, as a more extreme example, cantonnières were very popular in France. This is completely flat. This is a tapestry made to look like a curtain. It's totally flat against the window. In fact, if you look at somewhere as iconic as the Chateau de Versailles, you'll see that swags and tails were heavily used, but mainly just on alcoves and on beds. There they have lots of swags and tails, very rarely on the curtains in the room themselves. And whilst I love the curtains that I've already made, the ones in Perse were quite sumptuous, I particularly like the ones in Chambre de la Tour. And in fact, in that room, I think the swags that I did in the bed alcove are perfectly in keeping with a French chateau. But the window curtains are bigger than they would usually be. And I think that for this room, I want to try to stick in the French tradition. And that's what I'm trying to do more and more with all of the new areas that we decorate here. I'm trying to move more to the French style of interiors. That's why we got the panelling for the Grand Salon, and it's why we're starting to invest in panelled overmantel mirrors in the French style. Philip and I have just spent 2 hours looking at curtains in France. We've looked at the interiors of Givenchy, of Henri Samuel, a great French designer. We've looked at Vaux-le-Vicomte, Versailles, various chateaux.
Jacques Garcia.
Jacques Garcia.
Italian palazzos.
Yep, as well, just because the curtains come from Italy, so checking those as well. And it's crazy how curtain styles change so completely. But my first instinct is holding up. We are seeing huge swags and curtains on beds, but not on windows. It makes it all about the bed. And we're lucky because we have big bed curtains for Bonne Maman. So I'm thinking I really want to try to do this in the French tradition. But it does mean I have to find some cracking curtain poles. Of course, in the past, that was hidden by the pelmet treatment. For example, here, you can't see what the curtains are actually hanging on. But when the curtains are hanging simply, you can't hide that. So you need a very, very beautiful curtain pole. So it's back to the drawing board. I can't believe how much research is going into 3 window treatments. It's absolute madness. Having spent ages deciding on what type of curtains to go for, the one thing I know for sure is that we need 2 big curtain drops either side of the window, whatever other treatment we go for. So I may as well start making those. So I'm going to go and get some curtains and start unpicking because they're not wide enough at the moment. So we're going to have to split them and add extra width of fabric on either side. That's 3 drops, which will be enough for 1 window. So let's see how this goes. This is the side that I want to add extra fabric to. So this is the side that I'm going to be unpicking tonight. And I will be using my trusty unpicker. Sadly, I think the thing in my sewing kit that I use the most. Not sure what that says about my sewing.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Have a fun evening.
Thank you. You too.
I've unpicked one, but I'm going to stop now. It's dark and I want to go and cook because I'm getting peckish. The time has come. I'm tackling the black radish. My plan is to cut it up in pieces in here with just olive oil, salt and pepper, and then roast it for half an hour. And so far, that's my meal plan for the evening. Black radish. Might need to think of something else. Right, this is going in the oven. I'm just putting together random things that I've found in the house. So we're having mushrooms.
Wine.
I found some, well, of course, that was the first thing I found. I found some dried morille mushrooms. And so I'm just rehydrating them in here for half an hour. I'll add those to these. That's probably enough, actually, just the 2 of us tonight. And then I thought, some artichoke hearts. We've got some
Lovely.
leftover roast pork we can put in.
Is all the stuff you found in the pantry?
Yeah, so I thought I'll just put it together and make some kind of pasta sauce, and we've got some pasta.
Amazing.
I've added the artichokes, the dried mushrooms and the garlic. I think it's time to put a little bit of vegetable stock in here and then get on with cooking the pasta. I nearly forgot the thyme and the pork, so I just grabbed this from outside the kitchen door. I've cut the roast pork up and added it, and the water's onto the pasta. Bon appetit, darling. I invented it, so I have no idea what it'll be like. And here is the black radish. Some said it couldn't be done,
Well, I'm
but there
very
it
curious.
is. Shall we just watch Interior's videos on YouTube during dinner?
Someone wants dinner. No.
I've got some roast pork set aside for him too. Cheers, darling. I'm quite loving this. It's so luxurious. Cheers.